Have you ever wondered what could happen if you made Mike Tyson angry? It's no secret that Iron Mike is the true embodiment of danger. His stare alone can terrify, and his fists are capable of killing anyone who stands in his way. The Beast Tyson can become so enraged that if you manage to upset him, everyone around him is automatically added to his death list. Welcome. In today's video, I'll take you through some of the most intense moments in Mike Tyson's professional career. I recommend viewer discretion as the footage you're about to see is not for the faint of heart. Content: Mike Tyson versus Lou Savarese. It was a new millennium, and Iron Mike was up against the dark horse of boxing's golden era. Savarese had the physique of a true giant of the ring, and he was no beginner. He had already fought legends such as Buster Douglas, the man who once handed Mike his first loss, delivering a brutal beating in the process. That fact alone made the match a serious affair. Savarese's record sparked heated debates among fans of both fighters, with each side claiming to know how it would end. Everything seemed on track for a classic clash of titans, until Savarese himself decided to jump into the fray, fueling the fire by boldly claiming he would melt the Iron Kid. Savarese's growing confidence, driven by his past experiences, led him to mock Tyson repeatedly. A major mistake. Once in the ring, it was clear that Tyson had not forgotten Savarese's attitude leading up to the fight. He decided not to waste any time, teaching him a harsh lesson by knocking him down in just 10 seconds.
That Tyson threw was like a kick from a horse.
Savarese got back up, but it became obvious that his survival instincts were failing. An enraged Tyson went on to pummel his opponent with relentless force, delivering as much damage as possible, so much that even the referee couldn't stop the Iron Beast. In the end, it took Tyson's own corner team to restrain him. That night, Savarese barely made it out. After delivering 2 knockouts in a single night, Mike, naturally charismatic, went on to give one of the most legendary interviews of his career. Mike Tyson versus Andrew Galato. Let's move on to October of the year 2000, when Mike Tyson finally faced the most controversial figure of boxing's golden era, Andrew Galato. Many referred to him as the symbol of deception in the ring, but his arsenal of dirty tricks truly earned him the title of Rat Fighter. Once the cheater stepped into the ring, he was immediately struck by the crushing iron fists of Mike, the damage made clear by the bruises quickly forming on his face. Unable to handle Tyson's clean and brutal offense, Galato remembered why he was the king of the Rat Fighters, and tried to dig deep into his dirtiest tactics to neutralize the man who had become his executioner.
You see his legs is a little stiff, and he's looking like he's looking at a man to work with in front of him. He's throwing some big body shots. Galato's not throwing any hard punches at all. Galato's not really using it. He's tapping a little bit. He's not really unloading with these big shots. Break! Let go!
However, unlike other boxers, Mike had zero tolerance for such tricks, and almost immediately made sure Galato had time to reflect on his recent fighting methods while sitting on the canvas. At that point, the fight had turned into a public execution, and even the most empathetic fans began to feel sorry for Galato. His torment, playing out in front of everyone, wasn't exactly easy to watch, but the bell showed more mercy than Galato perhaps deserved, sending him to his corner to try and reorganize his thoughts. There, Galato probably had the clearest realization of his life. He stood no chance against the most aggressive man on the planet. So, in a true act of cowardice, the Polish fighter decided it was better to be remembered for running than for dying in the ring. And he quit. That night, he wasn't just a victim of Tyson's fury. By quitting, he also earned the lifelong hatred of fans, clearly demonstrated by the crowd's reaction. As security escorted him back to the locker room, he was showered with leftover drinks and food while being booed relentlessly. It's fair to say that Galato took the ultimate walk of shame. Mike Tyson versus Francois Botha. If you're someone who knows Mike Tyson's list of victims from beginning to end, you probably know that one of the most abrupt downfalls was that of South African boxer Francois Botha. Do you remember the incident with Holyfield when Mike bit his ear so hard that he tore off a chunk, which had to be picked up by one of the venue staff and taken to Holyfield's locker room to be put on ice, hoping it could be stitched back in place? Well, poor Botha got the sequel to that kind of enraged Mike Tyson, because after more than a year of suspension, he was Tyson's first opponent back in the ring. The tone darkened even more when, during the lead-up to the fight, a journalist dared to ask Iron Mike a few provocative questions. But what that reporter suffered didn't compare in the slightest to what Botha had to endure in the fight itself. From the start, Botha proved to be yet another rat fighter of the era, constantly clinching and holding onto Mike's body in hopes of neutralizing his relentless offense and taking some control of the fight's pressure.
Waiting for his opening. There's one, two. Big. Botha have the ability to combat this. Botha certainly.
That jab, you're right.
And he hasn't done it.
However, before the first round even ended, Tyson's fury began to escalate, and he gave Botha a very clear warning, not with words, but with action, emphasizing just how easily he could break both of his arms if he really wanted to.
Holyfield did. Entire career. He just seems to be avoiding everything Mike does. To a tremendous start.
With the referee struggling to calm Mike down, only his corner was able to get him back to his stool, just for him to come out for the second round even more ferocious than the first, trying once again to injure Botha and earning a deduction from the referee. For a while, his rage seemed to be working in his favor. He was leading on the judges' scorecards, and everyone in attendance knew they were watching a beast being unleashed after over a year in a cage.
Forget all that. This is an alley fight, a street fight. This is so what we got here is interesting. Clearly, most people thought logo and would overwhelm Franz Botha, but Botha have Francois Botha stymieing Mike Tyson, keeping him at bay.
Step back, clean. Right.
Mike Tyson shots that we've seen him hit people.
Tries to open it up, does Tyson. To Tyson. As Botha tries to get
He's ahead right now. He's not winning the round, but he's got to.
After a while, it became clear that Botha had had enough. All he needed was for Mike to press the game over button so he could start dealing with the damage his fists had caused to his weakened body. And with great timing, when Tyson landed the inevitable right hand straight to the face, Botha's survival instinct finally kicked in, and he chose not to get back up, shutting down all response in his body and leaving himself nearly lifeless, sprawled out on the canvas.
4 in the 11th round.
He's got to punch with both. Now again, when you can't get off punches.
A screwdriver in. Down goes Botha. 8, 9. Can he make it? It's over.
Mike Tyson versus Peter McNeely. All it takes is one look at the way Tyson stared at the overly confident Peter McNeely before their fight to realize the tragic fate that awaited him. In August of 1995, after being released from prison, Tyson caused a massive stir by returning to the honorable boxing ring to face none other than the brash and arrogant Hurricane McNeely, who believed that after spending time behind bars, Mike had lost his edge. Brazenly, he chose to disrespect the legend. If Tyson learned anything during his time in prison, it was how to control his emotions. So, even when McNeely mocked him to his face, Mike knew it was best to let his fists do the talking. That's why, on fight night, Tyson's devilish stare said only one thing: "Your soul is mine." And once the bell unleashed the beast, the so-called Hurricane didn't even stir up a breeze. See for yourself.
Comes right at Mike Tyson. Down goes McNeely. Seconds into the fight. McNeely on the canvas.
Mills Lane said stop that nonsense because they were starting to butt heads. Oh.
Tyson with a left hook right up.
He's very hurt. He can barely stand up. This fight, he's got about 30 seconds.
If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Which of these clips was your favorite? What other moment where Iron Mike's fury gave us a legendary scene do you think should be included in part 2 of this video? I'll be reading your comments.